I remember once we took a family to Tanzania and I was giving the driver a collective trip of some $200. And he said, ma'am, if you don't mind, can you carry it to Nairobi? My daughter is at university. I will ask her to come to your hotel and take it from you so it can pay for her education. And all these things touch my heart. You never stop learning in your life till your last breath. There were many youngsters and they asked me, like, how did you do research when there was no Google? And I said that I took a car and a map and we got lost.
A lady who I think personally is an institution in herself. She is known to be the lady who walked into Africa, set it up like a dream for people when the rest of the world was selling Europe and America maybe. She's mentored generations of professionals who vouch for her training. She started way back in the 80s with the beautiful beacon, as we call it, in the 1990s. And in 1994, she proudly set up Kenya for the India market. We have the beautiful Heena Munshaw with us. And the sari that she's wearing, as you can see, is that very sari she wore in 1994 at the product launch of Kenya. Heena, your journey has been a journey of gumption, of grit, and of absolute grace. Thank you for being with us on this little conversation.
Thank you. We go back a long way with you in your express days, and Pranav, of course, since he was in Air New Zealand. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, Heena, when we are looking at the whole expanse, literally, of almost 40 plus years, the passion you have today, you're still investing in yourself. You're still investing in the destination. You're saying, Rima, I'm hungry for knowledge because the world has changed. I want to be in sync with the world.
It is true that you never stop learning in your life till your last breath. And post-COVID, a lot of stuff has changed everywhere in the world. So when we restarted, it was very important if you focused on certain destinations to get an update. Some services were on, some were not on. A lot of people had moved out of the industries. So if your old relationships are gone, you have to build new ones. You have to derive what you want.
Yeah.
And what's good for your company, what's good for your clients.
If we can turn back time, as they say, Heena, the world of travel was so different then. People were different. How did you all function then? I mean, how did this whole thing happen? Because as I remember you, Heena, you said we mapped the world before even Google came in.
Yes,
we knew
did.
exactly.
So when we used to travel, and I remember when 2014, I think when there was Cricket World Cup in New Zealand, there were many youngsters and they asked me, like, how did you do research when there was no Google? That is the most prominent question I'm asked always. And I said that I took a car and a map and we got lost. In 96, I had done a research trip to Agnew destination and we had launched Scandinavia and Eastern Europe as well. And we had traveled for more than 2 months there to research to find the right partners. And sometimes with large companies, it also depends if that company's CEO's focus is on India or not. I mean, we were so ahead of our time. Today, everybody wants a bite of India. But at that point of time, suddenly they'll say, no, we'll put our resources on Europe.
Yeah.
We don't want to look at Asia.
India, yeah.
Or we don't go to anybody in Asia, which was quite common. So it's to find a person who would be interested. Things have changed a lot since then. But it was literally carving our own path as you went in those days, educating people on what are the dietary needs. And I have cooked in so many kitchens in Africa, taught them, because they have everything.
Yeah.
But they were so used to Western market then.
Yeah.
They had no idea what to give a vegetarian. And I would go and tell the sales directors that should we pay $3 for this meal because there are, say, 60 dishes, but my clients can eat 5, like salads and desserts. And then and then it was an education. Yeah.
because everything was,
So
vegetarian.
we learned about the destination, but we also taught them about the market needs. There were no tourism bodies or rep companies, so we had to bridge the gap.
I remember you said the Girnar tea you put for people because the chai was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was a luxury property,
Yeah.
and there was a large family reunion, and they tried to make tea, and they just patiently, the sales director, the chef, how is it? I said, can I be honest? Don't try and serve it, because we'll start on a wrong foot. But they were very good with the other things, and we had to balance it. You have to work together with your suppliers, and you have to always value how much money your client is putting, whether it's a young professional or a rich millionaire or a Bollywood star. You have to match their expectations. You know, the perception of Africa was so different. It's a dark continent, people live on trees, and people used to say all sorts of things. So a very successful business couple now, I think it's 31 years they are married, and I had done their honeymoon. That was the first one in Kenya, and they still remember it. And
Wow.
yeah. The other day I went to meet them, and they had also taken a trip to New Zealand, a self-drive. And I was fascinated that they remember each lodge's name, even the host name, because it must have made so much
much of an
impact. So I was so glad that I had a right match.
What is luxury? I think it's very, very
You
personal.
know, at one point of time, people used to think that selling a five-star holiday or expensive is luxury. I don't think anymore. I think the experiences that you can match to the client's liking, or whether he wants to do mountain biking, or whether he wants to do a cooking class, or whether he just wants to do a meditation in an open ground. You know your client well, and you match the product, but you can't know all your clients because some are new.
Yes.
And you know, many times when you ask somebody, like, I have no budget.
I have no budget.
No, so I
Okay,
have
best.
no idea, and I have no
No
budget.
budget.
And then the last thing they'll say, I want the best. Now, best is not cheap. The minute you give that, you are so expensive. But as compared to what? I have clients for last 15 years who book holidays, but I've never met them, and they've never met me. But they have faith. You have to respect the faith people put on you.
How do you see the new age generation looking at travel?
There are some people who do believe in old school values, and they're ready to learn, invest their own money and travel. And there are some people who may not have the resources or make choices to book hotels on portal and get their client good deals. Each one chooses the segment they want to focus on. Travel is my passion, as it was the tagline of Beacon. And I really do believe that product makes all the difference in people's experiences.
Yes.
I just went last November to Tanzania. We were on a 2-week trip, and we were changing hotels. It kept me going. I still remember the veteran travel writers, because when we started, all the families to Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Australia and New Zealand. There were no tourism bodies. We put it together. Pranav will remember this. And Jaru, Gustas, Marslis, Varsha from Chitralekha, all the people traveled with us. I remember even when we went for a game drive in South Africa in the night, it's dark, but Jaru still noted.
Still writing.
Yes. And I remember when we launched South Africa, everyone was, oh, it's apartheid and we are not white. And so I had arranged one of the sales directors of one of the large chain, Protea then, and he was meeting the press, and I took him on a side and I told him, I said, Bernard, it's nothing about your hotels, it's nothing about tourism, it's all about the skin color and apartheid, that where will a brown customer be?
Wow.
And that's what we need to address, because if we don't address, we can show 60 hotels and whatever, we're not good. So it was the last minute switch of the whole talk.
Crazy.
And it was interesting, and people were satisfied, and and first in Dava I attended, where Nelson Mandela, 1994, it was memorable. At the first Indaba, the minute you say that I'm from India, and there's like, oh, they're not interested. Like some people said, no, we don't want to work in India.
Which year was this, please, Heena?
94.
That wala Indaba.
Yeah. Shuru mein. And then it was like, and then if you say that, oh, my market has dietary needs, like we have vegetarians, and they'll say, yeah, we have halal. So I say, hello, you cannot have a halal tomato. In Kenya, in the beginning, when we were B2B like a DMC, and the large companies, very large companies, tour operators used to outsource their incentives as well to us. So before the first incentive was coming, I was briefing the staff in Mara, and suddenly I realized that because you're brown skin, they think you are some grocer's wife from Nairobi, and you'll probably tip 20 shillings. So I had to stand on the table, get all the waiters, take the map and tell them, there is a Calcutta, there is a Delhi, there is a Chennai, and then they come to Bombay, and then they come to Nairobi, and then they come to Mara. So these clients who are going to come tomorrow have flown for so many hours to be here, and they are as good as any white visitor that you get, and they need to be treated with respect.
As a woman entrepreneur, it's not about International Women's Day, but just as a woman entrepreneur, women even struggle today. Let's be honest, whether it's family pressure, social pressure.
And it's not only in India.
Yes.
I know so many able women who are in marketing positions, and they have to travel internationally a lot. And their spouses and families have to support, especially abroad where they have no domestic help.
Yeah.
They have 2 and 3 children.
Yeah.
The families have to rise to the occasion and support. When I had to travel, my mother-in-law couldn't get it, and she would say like, why do you need to leave the family and go? So there was clear difference between her son going for 6 weeks and I going for 6 days. Once when somebody had applied for South African tourism joint venture, and they asked me that, what is the passion that you have for Africa?
And then
As against, so I said that I have seen the small tip a client gives make a difference to the driver's children's education. Every dollar in tourism touches a family and makes a difference. And it's not so much whether you go 2 years later to Hong Kong or, somewhere in the Pacific. But here, it does make a difference, because I remember once we took a family to Tanzania, and I was giving the driver a collective trip of some $200. And he said, ma'am, if you don't mind, can you carry it to Nairobi? My daughter is at university. I will ask her to come to your hotel and take it from you so it can pay for her education. And all these things touch my heart. And it would touch anybody's heart who's sensitive.
Women like us today who you've also supported, mentored, what's this message you want to give to all we women at large, even the young generation, the alpha generation? What do you want to tell them?
If you believe...
Your grandchildren.
My grandchildren.
What do you want to tell them?
If you believe in something, just go for it. And do what you like. Don't listen to people.
When your beloved husband moved on and you said, I was doing stuff and then God prepared me.
Yeah, we went for a holiday. Unfortunately, my husband had a heart attack and he passed away at Ulusaba Lodge. And the lodge manager then was a young man called Philip, and he's still our family friend. Yeah.
And you said he just left the job that day.
He stopped serving as a lodge manager. He was part of tourism business, but he couldn't handle it because it was too hard for him. And we have always been sensitive to any clients need somebody falls sick. I used to tell the people, do not say who will pay. They need to be evacuated. Bring them out. We'll deal with everything later.
I just want to say, it's the time we all give back. The way she has been giving for 4 decades plus. Heena Munshaw for me is an institution. And this beautiful story that she shared with us of her journey of ups and downs, trials, turbulences, triumphs. And just remember that you are the one who knows yourself the best, and you know where to draw the line and be a success.